All right, we live. Let's take a look at this Marvin Sapp
All right.
situation.
Okay.
We just gonna play it first. Here you go.
They understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said, close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I just think $20 is a lot of, and they.
All right. That's
Right.
it. That's
Yeah.
the video. Your thoughts. He said close the doors 4 times. He looking a little bit gangster when he said it.
Yeah.
He said close the doors. I said close them doors.
Yeah.
Put yourself in the mind frame? I guess let's mix it up in the mind frame of being in church with the mindset you have now. What's your take on that?
Okay. Well, being in church, with a Christian mindset,
With a Christian mindset, okay.
I would have felt like he's testing your faith, testing your believing. I don't know if this was before he preached the message or after. It sounds like normally when you're in church, they normally be bold this after they delivered a powerful message. He the way he's talking is like like he's a guest speaker, and you done delivered that word and you done spoke something prophetic. And when you speak something
Oh,
prophetic, you can demand that type of you can usher in that type of thing that he's doing. So that's
okay.
from the outside looking in, not outside, that's me being in the mix of a Christian. But now that I done stepped away from that faith, it's a lot of things that look suspect to me. For one, for him to be a guest at that church, I'm assuming this is not his church, but
I don't think he's a guest. I think that's his church.
okay, and that's even better. He know approximately from just our looking that he got about 1,000 members plus. So he said he everything was specific, numerous. He said it's 1,000 people in here, and giving $20, he's saying that I can get this much. And then he said it's 1,000 members. For him to say that, that means whoever his ministry is to handle the logistics of his normal gathering, congregation. What they say, if you ain't gathering, you scattering. So he know on this particular day, the smallest number is 1,000, at least 1,000 plus. So he's starting with the least common denominator. So it's like he never said God told him it's 1,000. He just said it's at least 1,000. So that means it's like what they call it, when you commit a crime, when you kill somebody, sound like his shit was premeditated.
Mm, yeah,
Sound premeditated. And then you say
premeditated.
4,000 is premeditated. That means God don't work off of premeditation. You know, he gonna tell you boom, 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 do this, bang, 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 bang. So it's premeditated. So it's mighty funny that he had who's in the congregation and how many viewers is watching this shit online. That he put up
Mhm.
his 4 fingers. At least I can at least get $4,000. We ain't going
No,
nowhere.
cuz no, he said that would be 40,000
Forty
if
thousand.
everybody gave 20, forty
Uh,
thousand. 40,
uh.
yeah,
So
40K.
he's ushering in. I'm using the word usher because he was saying ushers. He's ushering in and grooming people. This the least amount I want you to give was $20. And he even said, I know where you're going. You're going to go get dinner. You're going to go eat. We all going to leave at the same time. Yeah, now that's bullshit. Most of the time, before they leave, they making sure that collection plate is right before they
Right,
leave.
right.
So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying ushering in because that's what he called the ushers.
Yeah.
Ushers.
Okay. Let me
Close the
hop in on
doors.
it
Teddy
then.
P. He put a
Let me
Teddy
hop in
P
on
on
it.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I put myself in a church mindset, because I done been in church and I've given in a lot of offerings. I've been the person up there taking the offerings.
Yeah.
So when I look at the video and he is saying, close the doors, and he said it 4 times,
Teddy
close the doors.
Pendergrass.
Like he's you can tell him, you can tell that he said, like Teddy Pendergrass, close
Yeah.
the door. Yeah, but he was a little more aggressive than Teddy, though.
Yeah.
He said close the doors 4 times. So the first thing I seen is that one, I think that's his home church. It's his congregation. He knows them, they know him, but
Mhm.
he's also doing something that's out of character, outside of the norm. That's why he had to be so repetitive with it. He like, no, I'm serious. Close the door. He pointing. Close the door. I'm
Yeah.
not joking. The other thing that tells me is that you say premeditated. I say I agree, but I add to that it's desperation with it because he's been thinking on this. I got all these people coming, I got all these people watching, but I got very little given. So I'm fed up now to the point that I'm locking you in. Close the door. You think you about to go and just eat and go on a regular day? No, I'm about to make you feel this pressure that I've been feeling because we got bills as a church. We got this and that going on, and you not holding up your part of the deal. Ushers, close them doors. And I think what Marvin Sapp is feeling is what a lot of churches are feeling. They feeling
Oh
that
yeah.
pressure because people are pulling away from stuff that they used to see as godly. They used to see as authoritative. What a Bible says, you should do this, you should give, you should do that. But leaders are feeling that pressure of people not giving because people are looking at their circumstances and saying, hold on, what's the point of giving? Y'all done sat up there where you at, Marvin, and other leaders, and made all these promises. If we give, then we gonna get this, that, and the other. Well,
You're gonna
we've
be
been
blessed.
giving, and we ain't been getting this, that, and the other. So now people silently withdrawing that commitment, and now they
Mhm.
feeling the pinch, the same type of pinch that people probably been feeling from giving their money.
For
Because you know,
years.
some people give their money and now they in a tight spot. Now they got to believe God. But when they giving their money and they in a tight spot, guess how the pastor feeling? Fat and happy. So now
Mhm.
they keeping their money, and guess who in the pinch? The
They are.
pastor.
Mhm.
So now they feeling that pinch and now they getting aggressive. Close them doors. So to me, cuz it seemed like the doors of the church in general are closing. Mr.
Oh
Marvin
yeah.
Sapp is actually prophesying and don't know it. He's saying close the doors. The church doors are actually closing.
Yeah.
People closing the door on all of that BS. People
Yeah.
saying, nah, we ain't really about that, man.
My grandma, I was watching. She watches these lawn services, and there's
Yeah.
one particular guy called Sean Lawn Care, and they show like I think 1 or 2 episodes where he actually had to cut the church's grass. And one of the church members actually came out and was like, we really appreciate what you're doing for the church. And he asked him like what's going on. And these were 2 black churches. And they said ever since the pandemic, he literally said this, ever
Okay.
since the pandemic and after the pandemic, our finances haven't been right.
Mm.
He literally said that on, and you can YouTube it. It's called Shark Care Lawn Service. and you can pull them up when he cut the grass for a church. It was not no small joint. He cut the alley grass and the church grass, and while he was cutting it, one of the church members, a black dude, came out, supposed to be a deacon or whatever, said, "Man, we appreciate what you doing, woo woo woo." And the dude that was cutting the lawn for him, he said, "Man," he said, "what's really going on? What's the situation?" And he said, verbatim, he said, "Since the pandemic and after the pandemic, our finances haven't been good to the point where they couldn't even cut their grass.
I'm in
They
the
couldn't get
bind,
lawn service
Willie.
to cut their grass."
They in a bind, you know. I mean, but you know, the thing is, like I say, man, in order for the church to thrive, the ignorance of the people got to be high.
Yeah.
When ignorance is high, the church thrives because people do a lot of stuff without questioning.
Yeah.
They don't ask questions when you believe and you don't ask questions, but when the stuff ain't really adding up, you start to do some math. You start to ask some questions. You start to make some decisions and make some changes, and they feeling that. But I feel like churches and people who are still bought into the doctrine, they're not seeing the writing on the wall. They're not seeing it for what it is. They're trying to look in the Bible and find a scripture. Well, it says in the last days that people would turn away and do this and do that and do the other. Man, people just fed up. They tired of that. Giving all this money, tithes, 10%, under the threat of being cursed with a curse. And, you know what I'm saying? They tired of that, man.
I feel like freestyling. They not getting the prize off that euphoric high no more.
They not what?
They not
Say
getting the prize off that euphoric high.
Hey,
that mean that
you
money.
That little high.
People not falling for that bullshit no more.
People starting to ask questions. Where all the money we done gave going to? Where's the debt? And you probably got some people where they done gave and then they had a need sometime later and came to the church and the church ain't come through.
Oh yeah.
But yet, I mean, you know, to me, the fangs are showing, you know, and like I said, I came across this because
you actually called this right when the pandemic was about to end, or you said it right at the beginning of 2021. You're gonna say watch. And when I looked at it, right, and I'm like, man, it's been about a year since the pandemic. Them church parking lots looking very skimpy. I've been in South Carolina, skimpy. DC, Maryland, North Carolina, Texas before I left. Them church parking lots are looking real skimpy. Real skimpy.
It's empty, man. And I'll be honest, I think another thing that's probably hurting the church is that mental health, access to mental health is on the rise, and people are getting more practical solutions to their issues instead of just going to church and praying and getting oil thrown all over you.
And deliverance, what we spoke on our
deliverance, you know, getting prayed over, oiled up, and leaving, believing that it's done. People are actually sitting down with mental health professionals and gaining self-awareness and getting tools to make changes that's actually helping them. So they depending less on church. Before they was just giving money and thinking God was going to come through and do this and that. So the church is actually having a come to Jesus moment, if you will. It's on the decline. And the statistics show this. I think we said this, bam, 28% of people now, man, don't even identify with Christianity or religion at all. You know, they're not atheists either. They're just saying, look, I don't need to go to organized religion to know God. So,
hey, I'm so glad that they doing it, because you done seen celebrities, you done seen people pulling people on their podcasts. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to bring life back
that dead body.
Yeah, they trying to boom, clear. Boom.
Yeah, boom, clear.
Clear. Boom.
The church is like a corpse right now, man, and they tried to revive the corpse of the church with star power. That right there, that's star power. Cam Newton bringing on Pastor Jamal Bryant. Boom,
Denzel
star power.
Washington.
Denzel Washington getting baptized. boom, star power. The Super Bowl, Jesus ads, boom, star power.
Yeah.
Bringing some random girl from Nigeria or somewhere in Africa with a testimony on the Breakfast Club. I'm like, who even is this chick? She talking about encounters she had with angels and God and this and that. Boom, star power. You trying to use the clout of the world who you've been rejecting and judging all these years. Now you're trying to
using
go
their
to them
platform to revitalize your religion.
to revitalize it. Hey, cuz you know how somebody got that cigarette, they say, hey, give me a light. You got a light? You got a light? That's the church now. They going to the world. You got a light?
Or when you drop your weed to the ground, they hitting it on the way up before they pass it to you.
Hey, they need that light. Give me that light. I need to light this thing. This light dim.
Oh man, they going.
It's dim. Hey, man.
Ooh.
Hey, and I love them, man, but I think that the faster they get in touch with reality, the faster they can revive it. Because the religion, the fables, and the fiction that you still believing in is coming up short. People needing real solutions, and you giving them fictional characters saying that it's going to give them real change. Folks is waking up that ain't nothing happening.
And if they can, I throw them a bone right here. They can save some of their religion if they get have real talk. And
I agree.
address them. They can save something for our culture. They can save it. Yeah. But they gotta address the real. They got to stop separating the physical from the spiritual. We got to get real. We can't separate religion from politics. It's one and the same.
The season is out, man. For that separation, the season is out.
They have to address it. If they want to save any residue of our religion, as far as black people, the AME, the Baptist, the Pentecostal, you gotta do it back in the day like the AME churches. You cannot separate the one and the two, not for us. That's the only way. If they don't, it's gone.
I agree, man. It's got to get real. As long as you holding on to that as like that belief system, like it's real, like it's factual, it's gonna keep failing. You got to get real because there's some value in it. It's some value in the church. There's some value in the Bible, but you got to be real about what it is so you can get real solutions from it. But hey, man,
for our culture, you got to.
Hey, that's your daggone show do.
Let's keep it real. Like you say, the reason why Christianity religion was popping, it was because of us. And if we leave, religion is done. I'm even talking about dead. Even Europeans' religion is
all the way dead.
It's all the way done. It's already dead when you go to a Catholic church. That ain't even us. It would have been dead if it wasn't for us. So if they don't get us back involved, it's going to be dead. All the way dead. Not just us. White people ain't going to even fuck with it. They already jumping on with our rap, our sports, and everything. That's the only reason why white people deal with religion and go hard like they do is because of us. Once we say it's over, they gonna say it's over.
Yeah. Yep. And we gonna see, man. We gonna see how folks try to spin it once people have to face the facts. It's gonna be interesting to me to see how they start spinning it. Well, we never really believed like that. It was always just allegory, you know. But yeah, man. I mean, just yet another thing showing the status of the church, man. Old Marvin Sapp getting gangster, saying close them doors. You ain't going nowhere but the restaurant anyway.
Yeah,
close them doors.
We leaving out at the same time.
Yep. Man, give me that money.
Like before you were telling me that, like when I was telling you before we jumped on this, I'm like, man, dog, that sounds like some terrorist shit. Nobody ain't leaving. I got y'all all hostage on the plane.
It sounds like a stick up. It sounds like a stick up. And the thing is, man,
like some gangster shit.
Hey man, let me put it back up here. Let me see how he did it.
Yeah, please replay it. It sounds like
they understand the cost.
Here you go.
That is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors.
Dang.
Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors.
3,
Close the doors.
4.
We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant.
Hey man, that's the face and the voice of a man who fed up. That man said, close the doors. I ain't playing. You think I'm playing? No, physically close the doors. Y'all ain't going nowhere but to get something to eat. And we just talked about this yesterday, or maybe today.
Yeah.
Eating. I ain't even gonna open that can of worms, but
Yeah.
not overvaluing the spiritual and not the physical, and just going to eating and getting fat and all of that. I mean, hey,
He
my
said
man fed up.
I know where you're going. You're going to go to eat after this.
My man said, close them doors, man.
Hey,
Hey, man. I just wanted to cover that with you.
Yeah, he's stressing. This
He's
man got the
stressing, bro.
LeBron James hairline.
Hey.
That nigga like, yes, sir.
Hey, what that salute got to look like? You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and be like the podcast.
Yeah, let's
Get
just go
rid
ahead
of.
yeah, that's stress,
Get rid
nigga.
of.
That
You back here with it.
Hey, any further back, you gonna look like he dabbing. Is he saluting or dabbing?
Oh, you roll for that, man. Hey, man.
You know how I do it because I always got a clown. I got a clown.
Hey, this was a short one, man. I just seen it. I just seen one of the pastors on my timeline actually defending Marvin Sapp's position. He was like, those of us who know. And I agree with Marvin Sapp. So all he's saying, these are my closing thoughts. All he's saying is probably what a lot of pastors are feeling, which is the pinch. And the pinch is people holding on to their money and not releasing their money. So the fact that people are now holding on to their money, the pastors is feeling a pinch because they having to carry the burden of the bills and whatever else they got going on. They ain't riding on the coattails of the folks. And listen, I ain't never been judgmental or think that a pastor shouldn't get paid. A pastor should get paid. But be honest with the people about how to get money. Quit telling them that they're going to get money or some kind of financial freedom from just paying tithes or bringing some money to the offering. People fed up with that lie. And they holding on to their money and they changing their priorities and their lives are probably improving actually. And Marvin Sapp probably just pushed a lot more people to freedom from religion with what he just did.
Oh no, he amped it up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he validated what we've been saying. He's actually validating because you was already saying this before the pandemic that shit was on a decline. This was before the pandemic. You were saying this shit like 2018, 2019. I think that's when you was telling me something about in Brazil, it struck the thumb or whatever, then it struck the head.
Right.
This shit was before the pandemic. So you had manifestations before you started prophesying this. And then you said it. And then before the pandemic, during the pandemic, after the pandemic, it's still been like that. I think you said it struck the finger, then it struck the thumb.
It struck the thumb. I think it was around 2009 or something like that. If I got my time right. And then somewhere in the 2010, 16 or something like 19, somewhere in there, it struck the head. Right?
Before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, I believe. Because if I look back on my Life After Religion channel, I did like a 10-minute video on it. But I was saying if that would have happened to a prominent monument from another religion, Christians would have been saying that's God with some kind of judgment. That's a symbol of some kind of judgment. So now that it happened to your monument, the largest Jesus statue in the world, what you got to say? My prophecy was that when it struck that thumb, it's losing its grip. You can't grip nothing with the thumb. Struck the head, it's hitting the doctrine. Because that's what's got the mind. People are coming from out of that. And the numbers show it. The numbers show this. Man. So, and now the pastor's crying out. They can't hold that frustration anymore. They can't hold the frustration. Yeah, it's hurting the pockets.
And they don't feel, and when they hurt in their pockets, they feel like that's God showing the people of the world that they not being blessed. So who was you really serving? God, or was you serving this as your God? Because if you weren't serving this as your God, you should not be affected to where you saying, close the door. Close the door. Usher, close the door. I'm telling you, close the door. Y'all ain't going nowhere but to eat anyway. We all leaving at the same time. That sounds like desperation.
On the decline, man. Look, let's give final thoughts. I got to run out of here. My final thought again. I know I didn't gave final thoughts, but you amped me back up when now pastors got to do what they tell people to do. Give that tithe and let God bless you.
Right.
Because now people ain't giving. So you can't be blessed from the people when they're not giving. So now what you got to do? You got to believe the same way you've been telling them to believe, because that money ain't coming in from them. So what you got to do, reach in your pocket, give your tithe, give your offering, and trust God to bring it from some unknown source, because that's what everybody else been doing. Now
my
it's on
closing
you.
remarks was what I just said. My closing remarks is what you had spoke on prophetically, and I was just using that example of that big Jesus. You was way ahead of time when you said church is on the decline. This before we even got hit with the pandemic. That was my closing remark. So I really ain't got nothing to say. I'm just prophesying. I'm not prophesying. I'm speaking on your prophecy before this even happened. And we keep seeing it. They desperate. They getting celebrities. Now you got pastors just boldly coming out. Now you're seeing pastors jumping on podcast platforms and don't represent nothing for religion, but they so desperate they using social media platforms to get their message across. That sounds desperate. It not sound desperate, but it looks desperate.
They're trying to revitalize the church, because Jamal Bryant went on Funky Friday with Cam Newton, and he went on the Breakfast Club after that.
See?
So it's, but hey, man. Hey, we gonna
Neither
be
one
here,
of them
man.
platforms pump gospel music.
Neither one of them. Not a one.
I rest my case. That sounds desperate.
Can I get a light? Can I get a light?
Can I get a bump?
That's what
get a bump
with it. Hey, that's where they at with it.
I'm stressing. I need a bump. This not strong enough.
All right, cuz. Well, that's it, man. Stick them up. Hey, it's OG's Uncut. Don't watch and hide. Like and subscribe, man.
Hey.
We out.
Get down or lay down. All right, peace.
All right.